Hey everyone, welcome to another video and welcome to Dove Ventures. Today guys, we're going to be talking about rib beds and rock and roll beds, what they are, what the difference is between them and what is going to be right for your camper van conversion. So, if you have a camper van, the chances are that you have some type of bed facility in it. Now, a lot of people, when they convert their camper van, some people build like a bed platform, they make it themselves, so it's like a section where you can sleep on. But some people, what they do is they get a rock and roll bed, they fit that into the camper van, and what that does is it gives you like a seating area that can actually sort of like turn into a bed as well. And also, some people get a rib bed. Now, our camper van that we used to have before we've got our Volkswagen Crafter, we had a VW T5. We had a very basic conversion in that camper van, and when we got our camper van, the thing that was important for us was that we wanted a comfortable sort of like sleeping area, because we knew that when we went places that we would be out exploring and things, and when we sort of like wanted to use the camper van as a sleeping area, we wanted like a big space, so we got a full size rock and roll bed fitted. Now normally a rock and roll bed, it's sort of like, it comes in like 3 sections and it's a frame. In the seating area, you just unlock it and then it folds out and then it locks into place and then it basically turns into a bed. Now if you do get a rock and roll bed, what you do is you put like your sort of like own type of foam in it, and then obviously like a leather covering or sort of like a fabric covering and things. There is like many different ways that you can sort of like do the upholstery on a rock and roll bed. But when we first got ours, the foam, it was quite soft and everything. We got an upgrade to get it like sort of like quite like a memory foam type of like hard foam, because we preferred it that way. Now when we got that done, we had our rock and roll bed for about 2 years before we sold our last camper van, and you know what, the rock and roll bed was like such a good thing to have. But what we did notice is, after sort of like about a year or so of using it, the sort of like the leather and the memory foam, you could see that it was starting to like show signs of wear. Now rock and roll beds are generally cheaper than a rib bed because, like I said, it just comes in 3 sections and it's just like a couple of like folding parts so that you can actually put it into the bed position. Rock and roll beds, they are a cheaper alternative to getting a rib bed, but like I said, they do work and they do their purpose. A couple of things that we noticed when we had our rock and roll bed that was sort of like a bit of a put off, that made us basically decide that it's not something that we would get again. They're noisy, they rattle a lot. Like I said, because we've got folding parts and like the locking system and a lot of like moving parts on it, we found that our rock and roll bed, it was quite noisy, and when you was driving it was like rattling and things. It's not something that was like off-putting, but it is something that if you're thinking about getting a rock and roll bed, that it might be something that you need to consider before you get one. Something else that we found as well is with our rock and roll bed, there was a lot of times that we had to like make a lot of adjustments with like the sort of like bars that pull in and out, like in the locking system and things, because they did get loose, and it's something that we did have to sort of like maintain on a regular basis. The main thing about the rock and roll bed that was like one thing that we didn't like is the seating area part, like the bit that you actually sit on. It was quite like narrow, so when you sat on it, it wasn't very comfortable. It was comfortable as a bed because at the end of the day, the rock and roll bed, that's what they're mainly designed for. They're designed so that obviously, when you sleep on it, you got a comfortable night's sleep, but also as a seating area, they're designed that way. Having one of these types of beds, do you know what, it really is a good way to be able to use your van as a camper van and everything. Like I said, we just had a basic conversion, and do you know what, it really worked for us and we wouldn't have changed it at all. That being said, when we decided to get a Volkswagen Crafter, one of the things that we was going to do is we was going to make like a lounge area type of thing, so that like we had a seating area. But with the cost of everything, materials and that, we found that it was actually cheaper to get like an alternative like system, and we started looking at rib beds. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you our rib bed we've got and why we would recommend that you do get one of these. So this is our rib bed. Now the reason that we got this is, like I said, we was talking about sort of like getting a conversion system here, as a U-shape, but with the cost of everything, it actually worked out better for us to, get one of these. Now the good thing about these is they're very, very comfortable, and they do have like a large seating area here when you obviously sit down. And this, it also turns into a bed, which I'm just going to show you now. And there we have it. It's simple as that. You've now got a bedding area. And also, we can use this as like a lounge area as well. Obviously, if you sit this way and you've got like obviously nice views that you're looking at while you're parked up somewhere. Now, we do use a mattress topper on top of this, but you don't need to, because if you just put a sheet or something on there, you're ready to go. As I said, they're so much more comfortable to sit on a red bed because, you know, you do have that extra room, you know, where you can sit on it, because they have been designed so that you can obviously travel and sit on these seats as well. Now, if you're thinking about getting a rock and roll bed or a red bed for your camper van, you've got to remember that, like, when you're designing your camper van and things, it comes down to like what it is that you want from it. Like I said, our last camper van that we had, we just wanted a big area that we could sleep in, you know, because that's what was important for us. That's why we got a full-size rock and roll bed. Now, red beds are generally more expensive than a rock and roll bed, but generally if you get a red bed, you're gonna get like a lot more quality as well. So again, it just comes down to what it is that you want. If you're just going to be sleeping on your bed and you're not going to have anyone else traveling with you and things, you know, the rock and roll bed might be better for you. If things like rattles and you know, and things like that bother you, then, you know, the red bed is going to be better for you. But you need to like do your research and find out what's best for you. Now, because we had the rock and roll bed in our last camper van, we knew, like I said, that when we got another camper van, that we wouldn't get another rock and roll bed. And again, this is one of the main reasons why we decided to go for the red bed. Red beds are going to generally be quite a bit more expensive, but you know, you are going to be getting like a lot better quality than like most of the rock and roll beds that you can get. What I will say is, if you're obviously converting your own camper van and things, you know, and you're getting like a red bed or a rock and roll bed, be certain that when you fit them, that you get them fitted correctly. We got ours fitted by a professional in the last camper van we had, and this one, because it's not something that we would attempt to do. A good night's sleep is really important in your camper van, you know, when you go out there exploring and everything. So like I say, do your research, and you know, if you're going to get like a rock and roll bed, if you can, do test them out and everything, because, you know, like different companies use like different materials, you know, for like the bedding area and things. Also, you know, you can get like a mattress topper, because that's what we use on our red bed. And on the rock and roll bed that we had, we did actually, you know, get a mattress topper eventually, because Brooke was saying for a long time, you know, that we should get a mattress topper, and I was like, no, it's fine. But then when we got one, it did actually make a big difference. Guys, I hope that's been useful for you. Like I said, we do get asked a lot of questions about rock and roll beds, because obviously we had one for such a long time, you know, in our last camper van, and obviously now we've got the red bed, you know, we just thought we'd give you like a little bit of like a review of like, you know, how we find ours, and you know, our opinions against like the rock and roll bed and the red bed. So hopefully, you know, some of those points have been like really helpful for you and help you to make a decision what's right for you for your camper van. But don't forget, when you build your camper van, do it for you, don't do it for anyone else, because a lot of people, they copy like what other people are doing, and then they don't actually use that system. So guys, hit that subscribe button while you're here, hit the like button. Until the next one, thanks for watching, bye for now.